Hey, ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And now I'm sure you guys were betting we're bringing in some more Steel Division League play, but no, we're actually going to take a quick break from that, give you a nice little bit of a 2v2 tournament going on right about now. Today on Meredet, I'm going to let Rang take it away. Who do we have and what are the rules of this whole engagement?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves team Forgotten Honor. And in Forgotten Honor, we have Mickeey playing as the SAS Division and Cadilakor as the 7th Armor Division. And on the right-hand side, we have Team Beefcake with the 2nd Panzer Division and 7th 16th. So, in terms of this tournament, this is a short tournament being run, and it's pretty cool. It has very different rules. Essentially, it's a 5-week round robin with 6 teams of 2. And the funny thing is before the tournament started, each team could only pick 3 allied divisions and 3 Axis divisions that it can play. And then they only can play that set of 6 divisions that they picked. Also, each team picks a home map. So, for example, Team Beefcake picked Meredet, this is Yerik, so we're playing on Meredet. And depending on who is the home team, just like in football, is where the map will be set.
Or soccer for you American people out there.
Or soccer, exactly.
Exactly, and make sure, multicultural audience, Rang, come on.
Exactly. But it's definitely an interesting rule set, because usually in other tournaments, you see players, or the rule set being that you ban divisions, but here you can only pick certain divisions, and you have to stick with only those 6 divisions for the entirety of the tournament. So it's pretty interesting seeing people's picks. For example, for Forgotten Honor, other allied pick is 4th Armored, and for Axis, or Team Beefcake, their other pick was the Paris Division. So they can only really play, those things. But, yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's been a while since we've done a 2v2, so...
That's true, and this one actually even more so looks going to be rather interesting as well. With We were actually just talking right before the stream started. We have a lot of newer divisions here.
Yeah.
So take us through it. Take us through it. So what is so bizarre about this?
Well, this is going to be definitely interesting matchup. I do love seeing SAS because they're a pretty fun damn division. But with the 7th for Cadilakor and the 2nd for Herr Robert, we're going to be seeing an unstoppable force meet another unstoppable force. They're really both headstrong divisions. It seems like we've got a pretty mixed loadout actually. We've got like Cadilakor and Mickeey sending stuff both to the mid, Caddy more north, and Mickeey down south. While for the Germans, we got bearjokes, 716th, of course, going to be taking the forest because he's the infantry division, and Herr Robert down south. And not really too much down south in terms of deployment, just the AT gun and the recon, and quite a lot of mortars from the Germans too. A lot of artillery off the bat.
Well, it's a 7/16, so it's not really too surprising, though, is it?
Good point. They got those nice, cheap 80-point, crappy field guns. But they're still pretty good. A field gun is a field gun. And, yeah, I mean, 2v2s, the nice thing is that, both players can really, lean on each other's back. Bearjokes doesn't have that much in terms of armor. I mean, only captured French tanks, but Herr Robert's definitely going to make up for it of all the Panzer IVs, Panthers, and whatnot he can bring up. And for Mickeey too, even though SAS is terrible in B phase, at least he has Caddy to back him up in B phase, who has that high point income. And off we go.
Indeed, indeed. Now, I was going to make a quick comment. First of all, I've seen some very quick call-ins already from Herr Robert. Kind of interesting that he's not going to go initial deployment. He's going to bring him on as the game starts. But how do you think it's going to play out with the 7th Armored? Is it going to work rather well? Will it synergize well with the short range of that first Demi, or no?
I mean, just looking at 7th Armored deployment, we do have his Stuart Recon, which is lovely. It does have that 50 cal, and it's a lot of half tracks, a lot of infantry, so he's really going to be playing that forest side, which is quite surprising. I thought SAS should maybe go because a bit more CQC, but it seems like both sides are really going to be playing more in the mid-northern area and leaving this southern side alone. Mickeey's moving through some saboteurs and partisan, French resistance fighters, while Herr Robert's just setting up at Panzer strikes and anti-tank guns. You usually think the 7th or 2nd would be doing a crazy rush down south where it's open country.
Yeah, I can understand that, but at the same time, I feel like that captured P4 over here on the western flank here. For the Demi-Brigade, we'll put a quick stop to that, especially early on. And like you said already, the Partisans, Jedburgh, all of those troops right there do have a high amount. I would think that the half-track would be, well, half-track rush would be a how do I put this delicately? Well, a bloodbath.
It's good use of all the partisans. I do like him quite a lot. Lovely little unit for just like 10 points. I mean, if it kills like one half-track, it's paid itself off already.
That is definitely true. Now, we are going to see, interestingly enough, I think a very early call-in from the artillery off-map call-in. Looking to take out a couple of those desert rats. And those guys, I imagine, are feeling a little bit cool, used to warmer climates here. But regardless, how do you... Okay, as we're developing, we see more troops being rushed on in already. I don't know. I feel like this, like you said, this center-north section is going to be a giant mess.
Yeah, I mean, we've got tons of Osttruppen running through, and Osttruppen aren't exactly the best CQC troops, but, you know, when off-map artillery is helping you out, that definitely helps out, and that is a ridiculous amount of Osttruppen, Khan.
That is true.
Jeez.
That is true, but when they're cheap, and you know what, the Russian people anyway, so, you know, like,
6, 7.
it's the Romanians, just get rid of them, we're fine.
Yeah, it's like 9 squads of Osttruppen right off the bat, which is pretty expensive there. But we've got the 50mm mortars also doing their thing, and yeah, there's more Osttruppens being brought in from there. But,
I guess I am struck about how little anti-tank is really up to the north. We have that one Pak 37, we have another one here several hundred meters off the line. I cannot help but feel that's a little bit too little, really.
Yeah, especially against desert rats. I mean, just look at the veterans here in those half tracks. That is 2 Stuart Remys as well. That's pretty tough to deal with. And you want to have, you know, Panzerfaust troops available, but we don't really get that for either division early on. So you need to use those AT guns effectively. And we've got that one Pak 37 up north, and he just gets stunned up. It's too much machine gun fire on him.
But he does get a kill first.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, I think that the beefcakes over here on the eastern side, we're expecting the armored divisions to be facing off against each other. If you want to look to the south, there was a Pak 40 that's down there, and he's going to go criminally underused. He's going to have no targets for days.
Yeah, on either side, like we got the Panzer 4 and the Panzer 4 down here on the southern side, not really doing much. At the same time, you got to realize you've got to try to keep that Panzer and Panzer 4 alive till C phase.
That's true.
Which is rather tough, but still, you know, maybe just do a little bit of engagement, a bit of skirmishing. Yeah, I mean, the Panzer does have that lovely 1.2 kilometer range, which helps out early on, and the Panzer strike blowing up a Panzerfaust squad.
I didn't even see what that was. Honestly, I keep concentrating this furball to the north here.
And yeah, this is, once again, guys, this is a 2v2. Pretty much double stuff is going on at the moment compared to a regular 1v1, so it's going to be hard for us to keep up with everything, so just apologies in advance.
Or excuses in advance, either way. You know what, I'll take the apologies as much as you want to. Now, with these Stuart Remys all over the place, you kind of referenced them a little bit before. These guys are still very much dedicated infantry killers, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
I mean, the veteranry 50 cal, it's nutty what a veteranry 50 cal will do. And the Stuart Remys, they're pretty tanky too at 5 armor. They're a lovely little just vehicle to have around, especially when contesting against German half-tracks.
Now, I do like the fact we are going to see that B2 coming on in, and we've sung the praises of this B2 an awful lot. How do you feel it's going to really impact this northern flank?
It's definitely going to put a hold on Caddy for now, if, you know, manages to keep it alive. That can really kill all the half-tracks. The Stuart will probably be a bit of a tough customer, unless it gets Panzer-tracked.
Nope,
which
it won't.
Almost. But the B2 is pretty much the brick wall that bearjokes needs to hold the line.
That's true, and he wants to keep his pelt on his back right about now, and I imagine keeping in the force is the only way he's going to keep himself safe. Okay, so take me to the southern part of this then. We've already talked about the fact that the Demi-SAS is very short range. We have these little pockets here and there, as you might expect from these kind of partisan setup. But what's going to happen? Okay, so lots and lots of arty comes the call, and that's true. That is a huge artillery park right there.
Yeah, and that's about to get counter-batteried by the off-map arty, and it's just the, yeah, it's just like the 5 inches, 2 inches, so just small, nothing enough, you know. Pretty good, especially at 2 inches at close range, because I can stun up the Osttruppen rather quickly. Yo, with only 2 HP, they're gonna die in the artillery barrage.
That's true. It's more really that 3-inch mortar that's really anything that's kind of worth holding on to. And Crusader being brought on in as is another Spitfire.
Oh.
Very unique. Okay,
got the A-phase Messerschmitt, yeah.
P2. Oh, P2 does go down. Did he use all of his arty, though, is my question. And the 3-inch mortar went down as well. Okay, so that's worth noting.
I think he only used 2 of the artillery shots, so...
I wasn't sure. I was not sure. But a new wave of Austrian being sent on in. And no, and I guess that last one being called... Oh, no, another P2 is on the map, so...
Yep. Let's see, second runner he can get an A-phase, and another good call in. And that's a good capture from Herr Robert. Holding that mansion area is pretty pivotal in, you know, holding this middle area of the map. It's a great defensive location.
Very true. Now, I'm kind of excited to see where this artillery comes on down, because those guys are so far on top of each other. I mean, one unlucky hit, and that is a hefty amount of casualties.
Yep, and, you know, basic tips, spread out you guys. Jesus. Just keep them spread out.
That's true. You will take casualties, but at the same time, you won't take horrible casualties if you're unlucky.
Because look at artillery come down. I mean, like Khan said, run direct hit and kaboom.
That's a lot of letters back home to mom. That's true. Right now, they're getting really lucky. We have 3 squads that are pinned down, and again, these are the ones we have to really watch out for. These are the motorized rifles, so this is the anti-tank at all. So if this gets ruptured, what do you see? Is this actually a potential breakout, or is this going to get stopgapped by that Jagdpanzer and Stuart?
If Herr Robert could get his stern pioneer on the other side of the road and start getting into his forest, he can just clear town. And he probably has some more stern pioneers in his deck. Yes, he does an A-phase, and they're going to be pivotal in fighting in a CQC battle. That's the lovely thing about 2nd Panzer, is they got CQC infantry in spades, especially early on, with, you know, stern pioneers in A, and of course STG troops in B phase. And on a map like this, especially in this northern middle area, having the CQC troops hold the forest is pivotal for winning.
That is certainly true. Now, let's talk for a second. Of course, we have action going on all across the line, but let's talk a quick second about synergy here. It is 57-43, but is this kind of to be expected?
Well, the main thing is 7th Panzer.
Oh my god, never mind. Junker just dropped his 96 bombs and did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, cluster bombs, you only meant to use them against infantry, and as you can see, against an armored target, and even a relatively lightly armored target, doesn't do too much. So a little bit of a hiccup here, I have to say. At least he managed to get out.
A hiccup? It sounds like he coughed up a hairball.
And Stuart does go down to a good Panzer IV placement, and that should be able to help plug in the line up north.
Definitely sounds accurate. Now, more artillery start coming on in, but okay, going back. Okay, so better synergy between the Demi-SAS and the 7th, or with the 2nd and the 7/16th. Which one has the better synergy here?
Oh god, that's a tough one, because they both have pretty good synergy overall. I mean, you got the one aggressive Panzer division, and then the more slower infantry division.
Well, you should know me. I don't ask easy questions. Come on.
I think it'd be mainly more for Mickeey and Cadilakor, because if Cadilakor can keep Mickeey in the game till C phase, yeah, he's gonna be, you know, the Americans are gonna come in and save his ass.
As we always seem to. Just brushing off my... What's that?
Well, for bearjokes, you know, once C phase hits for the Axis, it's not going to be all that pretty, really, because bearjokes, I mean, he has the infantry to hold forest, but no real armor at that point, while the Allies going to be, you know...
Swimming in it.
Swimming in it. So it's going to be down to Herr Robert, you know, keeping his Panzer IVs alive, getting that Panther recon vehicle, and just being able to get enough heavy armor to, you know, keep his buddy afloat, because bearjokes, with only captured trench tanks, doesn't have much in the armor department.
That is true, but what he doesn't have in tanks, he definitely has in anti-armor, I will say. More PaK-40s being deployed to the north. We are into Phase B now, too. It's getting closer and closer to that inevitable amount of just insane armor. And the Abbot of Chantry coming on in.
Look at the top left, Khan.
I was just going to make a comment about that myself, too. We just this huge wave of troops.
What's the pathfinding going on there? That's bizarre.
I wish I could tell you.
Okay, yeah, we got the Abbot being brought in, and he's going to be bringing in some fast prayers with his 75mm gun. Smiting the heathens with the Lord name.
That is true.
75mm.
Well, this we actually finally can answer the question: if a bear just gets dumped on in the woods, will anybody, that is the question, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That is a good question. That is a good question.
Now, I'm interested to see that we haven't really seen that much air power from the Germans, and we have seen that cluster, that clusterfuck for what it was. Other than that, the occasional ME-109 we can see just kind of patrolling right about now, but that is the horrible, horrible little brother, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the crappy A phase run that 7/16 can get. It's well, I mean, it has 4 HE, which is not the greatest really. I don't really like taking that one, to be honest. But the Caddy, bringing in the planes. Nice thing about SAS is, well, it's not SAS now, but it's the 7th Armored. Is they've got good air power. The Allies. They got the B-25 Mitchells. They got the Mosquito fighters, and then SAS can just bring out bloody everything. Tempests, bombers, just bloody good air power. So really, air power game is going to be going towards the Allies in this matchup.
Now, a couple things. First is, we never really talk about how the air power in a 2v2 works, but it is interesting, like you said, that it is very much a force multiplier here. The other thing I want to make a quick call out about is that we have our first Flak 88 on the field.
Oh, there we go.
It just got hit by a bombing run, but at the same time, the fact that it exists, I still think is definitely noteworthy.
Yeah, and it's going to be, the nice thing about bearjokes is that he has Flak 88s in spades, which is going to be good for keeping the airplanes away, but also down south to, ward off the armor. Range anti-tank support and anti-infantry too.
Very, very true. Now, we are consistently just seeing a meat grinder for these tiny little forest patches here, but looking at the amount of veterancy coming forward, that is just obscene.
Yeah.
Those chasseurs coming on in, these guys are absolutely incredible close-in fighters, I would say.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, 25 points, you got 4 SMGs and 8 M1 carbines. That gives you a total of 17 HE firepower, that's nutty, absolutely nutty. Even the I really like the 15-point squad run, which has like 2 Stens and 2 Brens and 2 carbines, just like Noah's Ark of weaponry.
That's a new one. I don't think I've heard that before.
FM, just by the recce up north. They're lovely because they're 5 points more than a Bren group, but they actually have CQC capability as well as 2-star veterancy. They're like the Super Bren group.
Well, the Bren group who doesn't just die in 3 seconds.
Exactly. But 7/16, still spamming in the infantry. Finally in B phase, he has access to pioneers, which are definitely vital in his CQC fight. But really, I mean, the amount of SAS troops that Mickeey can get, as well as carrier of the desert routes and motorized rifles, etc. They're going to be doing pretty good in this forest when it comes to infantry and infantry engagements.
Now, 2 quick things. One, we see, I think, Herr Roberts' final artillery strike over here in the west from that second P2. And the FAO being called in right about now onto, let's say, that is, it's bearjokes' troops. Remind me, how big is the... That's pretty big. Wow.
Which, the, BO Panzer? Which...
it's not the BO Panzer, no. This is the Jeep FAO.
Oh, the Jeep. Yeah, that's naval artillery, I believe, mate.
That's a 380, isn't it? 280, 380?
356 or something.
Thank you. Now, more cluster bombs yet again, so at least the Crusader gets forced back.
Not on the tanks, come on.
I know. I feel like he could devastate what's going against him, but all that air cover, that guy, he might even get taken down.
Yeah, he's probably going to get killed by a Tempest jet.
There we go. And there go 200 points.
Yeah.
And then some.
And that's a shame. He kept using Junkers like because that would have really devastated the SAS troops being brought in if he dropped it on them or saved it at least. But that's what you get.
Well, maybe Groundfire might be able to return the favor over here onto that Spitfire. Nope, never mind. He's going to make it away just barely. Wow.
The Messerschmitt. Oh, yeah, Mosquito's not even going to bother chasing. But just looking at the map's progression right now, Allies, Forgotten Hope, they're doing pretty good. They got a nice salient up north, just holding their ground. They got the CQC advantage and just infantry in spades. Really, for Team Beefcake, they really need to beef it up and maybe try attacking down south. I mean, do you have the Recon Panther down here now? They have a Yak Panzer 4, Flak 88, 40. If they get, some Panzer Grenadiers sprinkled in, it'd be a slow, bloody fight. But by God, they could make some progress down south much more quicker and much more effectively than if they were to do a big assault up north, because that's just I mean, it's just stars in my eyes up north. Jesus, just SAS troops galore.
Well, I'm happy you're okay with that, because for me right now, all I'm seeing is red. And not the good kind. Oh.
That's a lot of I think it was probably all pioneers being brought in.
Oh my god, yeah, actually I think you're absolutely right on that one. Now, they're all coming right to where their entire infantry salient has just died.
Yeah.
So it means they're going to run right smack dab into those SAS chasseurs, which is not going to go well for them.
Exactly.
In a straight fight, honestly, I don't even know who's going to win that. I mean, the Pioneers had to get nice and close, and that's not going to happen easily.
Yeah, I mean, the Pioneers can get off their big-ass grenades, and they really devastate their SAS troops because they're rather small in numbers, a lot of them. Especially the FMs and whatnot. Chasseurs are a bit of a different story.
Now, I might be wrong, but we haven't seen that many STG troops being brought in, have we?
No,
Oh no, I've one. There's one Sturmgrenadier, and that's it. I haven't seen a whole lot of the other ones.
No, not much. Herr Robert hasn't really brought up that much infantry. I mean, he is playing second as well. We've got a second one down south.
Oh, okay.
But that's about it so far.
Kind of a shame too, because I feel like those are the troops you want to use to lead an attack.
Yeah, those are great attack. Those are actually really good attacking units. Like, you think Panzer Grenadiers are, you know, like the ideal runs. But the nice thing about Grenadiers is even though they have like shorter range by 200 meters, you can use the smoke just to easily get up to extra 200 meters, and then you melt anything away.
Sounds about accurate, and it looks like the Germans are also tired of the prayers being offered to the north of bringing a couple of the martyrs on their side. Hopefully they won't have to die to get their, you know, to have their faith shown here, but nevertheless.
Well, I really like Abbott's position up north. That's a real sneaky spot for a nice little, well, I'd say light tank. I mean, a 48 km/h off-road is pretty much a light tank at that point. But yeah.
And the, well, the Yacht Panzer just went down to the south, I think actually to that 6-pounder, who just continues to just rip and rock through every vehicle that's right in front of him.
Yeah, that's a bloody 3-star 6-pounder too. That is something you don't want to mess with. And that's a shame losing that Yacht Panzer. I mean, if he had infantry, you know, in front, some recon too, yeah, no, yeah, probably would have ran it a little bit differently. But that was a bit silly, outpost, to be entirely honest.
Well, I think we're going to see Flak 88 try to take out the P4, driver wounded. That's going to be a dead P4.
Yeah. I was looking for P4 and say, oh, second Panzer P4 going down, but nope, it's the SAS run.
But in the meantime, this might be the only time that a Crusader is in a great position, for that matter, too, in the north. Bring up the whole Abbott Panther thing, and good God, because a ground fire has just been devastating today.
I know, just both sides using, well, really allies using just an insane amount of air power. I mean, those Tempests, Mosquitoes are really good, not just for fighters, but for ground fire too, because they both have quite big armaments, at least 420 mils each.
Well, and no matter what she tells you, size does matter.
It does. It does, guys. Just...
I'm not going to ask why you know that, but... we're going to have a very, very tight, quick barrage being called on down by Mickeey. I think that's the second or third. Actually, probably the third one coming out, I think, from the FAO. And that's going to be another 4 or 5 squads going down here. It's too close. And
716th, he's been losing a lot of infantry bearjokes. And even though you do get a pretty good amount for 716th, it's not endless. You do try to have to keep them alive. I mean, you've got like 4 grenadier squads all bundled up together, and I think Bear is he's really blowing his load on the infantry, because once C phase hits, or later C phase, I think he's going to run dry. And on an infantry-focused map like this, that's not good.
That sounds fairly accurate, but you know what? Maybe he thinks, my allies are not bringing in enough infantry or bringing in too little. I'm bringing in a lot. Maybe he's just trying to find that just right spot right in the middle there. I don't know if he's going to be able to, though.
Fair point. Fair point. It's just he really needs to think about spreading out his guys a bit more, because they're way too clustered. He is suffering some Heart of Iron stacking penalties, right? Yeah.
You know what? I was wondering when we were actually to bring that game into this. We don't talk about it very much. That Tempest, oh my gosh, I don't see this guy making it out either.
Oh.
That's insane. Okay. How much anti-air is here?
Pretty good. I think it has pretty decent resilience. The Mosquito has good resilience, but the Tempest too. Pretty sturdy planes, yeah.
That's true, but we have 3 Flak 88s in the map, 1 in each major area, plus the Gepards, plus the Flak 30, the 20 mils. This is absolutely terrifying. I would not want to be in a plane on this map.
I know. It's good. It's a good. Yeah, the Axis are realizing that they're being completely stomped in the air and getting the 88 up to Razu, but they're still not making much progress. They're still 55 to 45, and the Allies are just slowly ticking up in points.
Well, and of course it already is 1250 to nothing, and you don't want to be shut out on this map.
And it's sea phase, and we know what sea phase happens. The Americans come in.
That's true. The cavalry is now here, and the Germans lose a lot of their econ.
Yeah. I mean, it's not looking good. I mean, also Caddy doesn't have much econ too, but with Mickeey just pretty much becoming the 3rd Armor Division in sea phase, it makes up for it.
That's true. Well, Fireflies are in. We have Rhinos coming on in. This is, yeah.
Sure, and the Germans didn't manage to make too much progress down south. Managed to get that U-shaped forest, which is, you know, it's a pretty good area, and they still have the Recon Panther alive. But we've got a Jagdpanzer 4, the Firefly, the 76, and Panther's a little bit outgunned.
Which is weird to say.
Yeah, we've got a 2nd Panther, actually, never mind.
Yeah, the Panther 8 coming down to the south, that's true, but there's still an awful lot of anti-tank there. The captured packs, like you said already, we have the 6-pounder that short range is still devastating. The Partisans all over the place.
Yeah, that 6-pounder could actually go out Panther if he was to move it up.
Please don't break my heart like that. I'll play a Panther. Destroy from range.
Well, no, I think the half-track's going to get in front and draw fire to the 6-pounder first, so that Panther probably is going to live. Oh, no, 6-pounder moving up. And that's 600 meters. He can... That's a side shot too. 3-star veterancy.
Tracks wheels. Oh god.
Oh, he's gonna show frontal armor at least for now. But there we go. That was
depressing.
It's pretty depressing, and it's really just comes down to the lack of infantry and recon. Yeah, Beefcake has down south. I mean,
again. Go for it. Yep.
I mean, just looking at recon, there's no recon down south at all.
Strong Grenadiers, that could have solved the problem.
Yep.
Ugh, that's really depressing. I keep waiting for something to hit some of this armor to the north, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see just a slow grind here.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is bearjokes infantry aren't armed with Panzerfaust.
So you're saying all they can really do is the bare minimum?
Yeah. They can do the bare minimum against tanks. Exactly, Garnet. That's a good way to put it. I mean, you've got the Italian troops, which do have the Panzerfaust, but they're not really in the right position, and there's not enough of them. We've got a mortar run here and there, but mortar run and TQC ain't exactly the best vehicle to pick.
Well, unless, of course, like you had that one amusing thing there was, I think, one squad... I want to say that not Marcus Sens, but that kind of idea, infantry, got hit by 5 or 6 different squads, and immediately it was like, okay, now it's time for me to surrender. That's great. That's one squad. I forget it. And another artillery park is forming here, too. Look to the west. We have 2 artillery pieces, 2 mortars.
That's 25 pounders.
We have another FAO coming in. We have a Lloyd carrier to the south. The Allied units here are just they're not going to get pushed back.
Yep, and... They even got a French H-39 being brought in down south, and it's just... The armor down south is crazy now. We got 2 76s, the Firefly, it's just... He can easily push through. He got that 1 2-star Panther, which is as a pain in the arse, that 2-star Panther. But he can break through it. And with the artillery, the Flak 40s and Flak 88s are pretty much going to be mincemeat.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. Meanwhile, the Abbot of Chantry, well, he's now almost alone. Stuart Recky's still hanging out there. Just checking in back on old friends just to see how they're doing.
Yeah, they're still hanging out up north, you know?
Okay, so while we take a collective breath here as the Allies really get themselves in position, what was the major error? You said it. We're saying about how the infantry itself just keeps getting wiped consistently to the north. But really, would the slowing down the infantry flow have helped, or would it have just hindered a little bit more?
I think Roberts should have been much more aggressive down south earlier on and trying to, fight over middle, because he didn't really gain that much ground fighting over middle. He has a mansion, but he hasn't really took advantage of it and, pushed through with his Stone Grenadiers and Stone Pioneers to get to the other side of the forest. If he was to maybe move, like, control the map south of the main road that cuts through the middle of the map, essentially, like, horizontally for you guys on the Cards channel. But if he was to push down here, you know, do a good Panzer 4, you know, crazy half-track maneuver, he probably could have made some pretty decent ground. Of course, the partisans are a bit of a pain in the butt, but 2nd Panzer, they really do well on a, you know, just being aggressive and blitzkrieging through. You want to be attacking, you don't want to be doing a like meat grinder per se, especially early on. And the Axis got way too much into a meat grinder. 7th and SAS managed to get a good hold up north, just enough to give them that, you know, 55% map control, and they just held on to it to C phase. And in C phase, you know, SAS got all the bloody American armor.
You know what's even worse than that? We're seeing Panzerfaust and Piat taking out vehicles. German vehicles, mind you. Yes.
Piat actually, whoa. That's crazy.
Now, to be fair, it was a 4-1. I mean, the Panzerfaust did it in 1, so clearly German engineering is still tops. Man, when Piats are taking out vehicles, that's when you know you're definitely in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, but yeah, just too defensive down south really hurt Herr Robert and bearjokes. Bearjokes could have held up north. Brownie is doing a pretty good job doing a holding action. And 7/16 is pretty good at defending. I mean, you do have a bunch of his French tanks being brought in to try and clear things up.
Well, not that range, too. They can actually take out the Abbot. The Abbot itself will get knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, only has 4 frontal armor. Good luck with that.
Of course, the Germans apparently could shoot anything, which they are blithely missing and playing with their food.
Yeah, and it was even like a 2-star Flak 88. Yeah, geez, that is a bit sad.
Oh, man. Down to the south gun runs, anything more really impressive? Mosquitoes just constantly just being annoying.
And the Allies did fantastic gas priority this entire map. Just constant harassment with the Mozzies, the Tempests, the bomber planes, etc. And they haven't really lost yet many either.
I think they lost 4 or 5 actually so far.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's.
Okay, I mean, from the basis of a single deck, that's pretty insane. But yeah, you're right. 2v2, that's much less so.
Yeah, and they've managed to keep the Axis from, you know, really taking advantage. You know, I mean, those Ju-88s dropping cluster bombs on vehicles were a real hindrance to the Allied war effort.
A real hindrance? You mean they tore up the grass that was going to be cut by somebody next week? That's totally fair.
Exactly. I was going to get some American GI to cut out scissors.
Johnson, you ticked me off for the last time, son.
Yeah,
you're on a lot of maintenance.
Yeah. Better than being a flamethrower guy. But we do have a little bit of a movement down south of Herr Robert. Got 2-star Jagdpanzer, a Panther 8, a 2nd Panther 8. So maybe he's going to try and make something down here.
Fireflessing and Defilade.
Yeah, and bounces, because where is the Jagdpanzer, to be fair?
Yeah, but okay, even if he presses up forward again, Pack 40 is right there. Now, oh wow, Rhino got hit it in 1 shot.
By the Pack.
I know. How often does that happen?
I know. But
weapons jammed on the Panther.
Well, the problem here is for Herr Robert, no infantry, no recon in front. He just ran into an ambush. And losing that Panther A, that is, like...
That's a huge investment. Yes, it is.
3 minutes of saving, right, yeah. So that's not good. That's not good at all.
He's not looking forward to retirement.
Nope.
Internal fire on this P4. He's going to die in the next shot or 2. There we go.
And that Panzer 4 car, that Panzer 4 is only 1 day away from retirement, you know?
Exactly. You know what?
Home
he should have bought a term life insurance policy, but he didn't do it because he was just too scared.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to win the raw hands. Don't worry. Who needs life insurance?
Exactly.
Oh, we have crop steel on our side.
Now, in the meantime, I'm taking a look at all the artillery park again. Whenever the Allies get just several sites of artillery all over the place, you know it's not going to be pretty.
Especially when they're 2-star 25-pounders.
Yes.
You know you're buggered when you're being counter-batteried by 2-star 25, or being batteried all by 2-star 25-pounders. As it's just... That's the lovely thing about 7th. Even though they're not Sextons, and we all know Sextons are better, the veterancy on those things, they're still a machine gun. An artillery machine gun of 2.4 kilometer range. Finally, the Germans, 7/16, have managed to make a very slow but sure breakthrough up north just through the sheer force of French armor.
Well, they are fighting the war just like their forebears did. I mean, they waited for 4 years, and then now they have tanks, and now it's time for them to attack.
Exactly.
And man, I'm actually really impressed by the concentration of armor he's got.
It's crap. I mean, the mortar one's really only anti-tank.
It's crap against an actual armor division, but against an infantry division?
And also in CQC, I mean, the armor penetration, armor values don't matter as much when you're fighting now 100, 200 meter engagements. But if it's just a breakthrough now, because if he tries to break through that, I mean, that 176 Sherman is going to be a pain in the butt. I mean, he could just probably bum rush it and get it, which actually might be a good idea if he just bum rushed all his friends' tanks down the road and see what he can do.
But as we see a Firefly moving in, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and we got... Even the 25-pounders can be anti-tank.
I was just going to make that comment as well. I mean, we talk about how the 25-pounder never has to be an anti-tank gun until it is, at which point it's hellaciously good.
Yeah. But the Allies are managed to take some territory back in the middle. Just, killing a few Sturm Grenadiers here and there. But, yeah, the Allies just that slow, +1 point advantage. Nothing too crazy. Do you want to take us to ×2, Khan?
Sure, let's go to 25.
Cool.
And +2.
Yeah, there we go.
Alright, so in the meantime, though, we are seeing, and this tends to happen an awful lot, it feels like, the Axis finally stirs themselves into action. We have more infantry, and in fact, tons and tons of recon, just kind of decrying how low bearjokes is on infantry. And they're making a slow push now, and there we go. So we're seeing tank after tank being blown to shreds. With the 25-pounder, with the Rhino. We have a couple of ones being brewed up already.
Yeah,
it's only going to get worse. So the Mosquito's going to start dropping bombs, and those guys are... Jeez.
Yeah, yes. Down south we got Allied Armapus, the Panther and the Anti-Panther being forced to retreat, as we got the Fireflies, the 76s, and even a Panhard joining in on the action.
Well, I could not believe my eyes to see all those Fireflies start taking out those German tanks as I fell asleep. But, Owl City is not in on this game, it's just us. And it's still +1 over here, 52-48, 2,000 to nothing still.
Yeah.
And the Death Star just picking on poor little recon troops, and that's just devastating.
Yeah.
This always hurts to watch.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, team games always end up being just a bit more grindy, just due to the fact that it's easier to cover more of the map. So it's not like you can stick like 3 and 4 Parents Grenadiers in one forest, especially with 7th, 16th.
Finally, they take out a couple of these vehicles. Jeez, they're fine. There's like every single critical, but either a track destroyed or an actual kill. Panther he's gone down quite a chunk. Yep. Yeah, Panther's lost a third of his army, whatever. I'm sorry. Continue. You were saying.
But yeah, we got a Ramps being brought in the middle. Hero unit. Is he going to survive these next 4 minutes? Who knows? But yeah, the Allies have just broke through down south. Just the 2-star Achilles, Fireflies, and 76s have just, teared up the town essentially.
Well, they did rock that town, so that's totally fair. Flak 88 going down, which means there really are 2 things left down here in the south to be scared of, and one of those can be taken out from a nice close shot by this Achilles. Internal fragments, thank you. Finally, some justice in the world.
Finally, Panther does its job. Doesn't get killed by a 6-pounder.
Oh, you don't even get me started. But you know what? I felt the 716th has gone and just said a move.
Yeah, they managed to get all the infantry in a big pile, and just like Operation Michael, finally making some progress. But it's a lot or too late, yo. The Americans have already came and saved the day, so yeah.
Oh, man.
It's a shame, because like bearjokes, he's now getting, the artillery park. It's a shorter range artillery park, but it does do much bigger kaboom scientifically. And it's a shame that the Axis couldn't make a breakthrough sometime sooner, because in B phase really would have been the time for him to do so, just due to, Herr with his huge point advantage, and, you don't really want to fight against the Americans in T phase.
Now, it is a little bit amusing to me that we have Fusilier over here that actually was able to take out a tank with one of the little magnetic, let's throw mines at the tanks. That never happens. Yeah, and even with us going into the last 40 seconds of this match, a Lorraine gets brought on in because, you know what, they can definitely see clearly now because the Lorraine is here.
Yeah, it's been raining down all day with artillery back and forth, back and forth.
You're
But,
right.
yeah, it's pretty much going to be a clean victory from the Allies. Not a single point from the Axis, unless they can get like 1% in these last two. No, no, it's
No.
going to be a clean victory. And, damn, the kills. The kills.
Well, Caddy did, of course, a lot of the heavy lifting right there. And shockingly enough, no real standout over on the German side. At least that's a solid team game, I would say.
Yeah, it's a solid team game. I really like the synergy between both players. Like early on, you saw Herr Robert calling an off map to support bearjokes, and both sides didn't play it as like two separate 1v1s. They were sending units to cover one another. The SAS come into the forest up north to help out Caddy. I do love seeing Ren 2v2s happen. Ren, you do have that synergy going on because that's the entire bloody point of playing a 2v2.
Exactly true. Exactly true. And I couldn't have said it better myself, and that's so I won't even try. I wish I could have seen the whole breakout and all the planes that did go down.
Yeah.
Because, man, that was probably the bloodiest air loss battle we've ever seen here.
Yeah, it was quite back and forth, yeah. Looking at history, it's just
it's
early
all
on
over
the
the place.
Germans just Osttroopen going down left, right, and center. Not really much Allied losses early on. In B phase, it's a lot of German units are just dying with a few Allied units thrown in C phase. It's actually pretty back and forth in C phase.
Yes, but look at the things that are dying for the Germans in C phase. The things that are dying for the Germans are high-value targets, essentially, still.
Yeah, it was Panthers and Flak 88s and Panzer 4s.
Well, and even the Freiwillige, the Italian troops, those guys are solid troops for the 716th. You do not want to lose those.
Yeah, you want to try and keep them alive. But yeah, I think we already pretty much explained like the breakdown of what happened at Mats. Too long didn't watch. Be aggressive very early on, or 2nd Panzer in an open area.
Now, let's also be fair though too. If you too long didn't watch, then why are you here?
That's a good point. That's good. If you manage to make it to the end of the video and we have to give you a TLDW,
then you know what?
I might say skipped all the way to the end just to see the victory screen. If anyone, I wonder if anyone actually does, yeah.
But you know what? We'll talk about philosophy next time. For right now, I would say we're going to be bringing more of this tournament tour, aren't we, Ryan?
Yeah, we'll do a few more matches. There's not going to be like a finals for this tournament, as it is this round robin. So we'll just bring you like a few matches here and yeah. Any good runs that we see.
Exactly. So you know what? You've taken a lot of the words out of my mouth and added some of your own on top of that. So about time for us to say goodbye.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right, folks. This is Colin Work.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.